680's Richard Southern joins us now. And Richard, the Prime Minister just made an announcement about pipelines in Canada. What's the effect going to be on the markets here?
Yeah, the news conference just wrapping up. It certainly could move the needle on energy stocks tomorrow. Could be a positive, Francis. So, Prime Minister Trudeau approving two controversial pipelines while rejecting a third. Mr. Trudeau giving the thumbs up to Kinder Morgan's Trans Mountain pipeline. Now, this would carry bitumen, the unrefined oil that they take out of the oil sands, from northern Alberta to Burnaby, BC. It's a $6.8 billion project, and it has sparked big protests by climate change activists. Prime Minister, though, says this pipeline will create 15,000 new middle-class jobs. The Prime Minister also approving Enbridge's Line 3 pipeline from Alberta to Wisconsin, which he says will create 7,000 good jobs, in his words. Prime Minister, though, killing Northern Gateway, another pipeline project by Enbridge. So environmentalists and certainly I would think the critics in the NDP government or the NDP opposition will not approve of this, Francis, but the situation has been out west that the oil companies don't have enough room in the pipelines to move oil, and therefore more of it is put on rail cars, which is more expensive and more potentially dangerous than putting it in a pipeline. And this, as a result, has depressed the price of oil in Canada. So this could be a positive for energy stocks on Bay Street tomorrow.
Well, interesting, because you say the price of oil took that big hit.
Yeah, price of oil taking a big hit today, and it does come back to this OPEC meeting coming up tomorrow. The representatives from the big oil-producing countries are going to get together in Vienna, and they're trying to implement a production cutback agreement that was put in place a couple of months ago, but there's major skepticism about them being able to do this. Countries don't really want to turn down the taps on oil production because it's going to cost them money. Iran and Iraq today said they won't be participating in any oil cutback agreement. So price of oil down $1.85 today, Francis. But surprise, surprise, price of gas going to go up here in the city of Toronto. Bit of a head scratcher, right? Well, it sort of comes back to a big move for oil yesterday. There's a bit of a delay when we talk about gas prices. So we're going to go up 2 cents a liter at midnight tonight here in Toronto, and that's going to bring the average to $1.02.9, Francis.
Well, I guess you kind of need a car to cart away all your goods from IKEA. You know, record sales being reported in Canada. I guess Canadians love that Allen key.
They're not afraid of using it, Francis, and I guess they're not afraid of getting in some fights with their significant other. You know what I'm talking about if you shopped at IKEA. IKEA sales, though, up 14.2% over last year here in Canada. They did more than $2 billion worth of business. This is the second year of double-digit sales growth for the company in Canada. Financial Post points out that IKEA has really carved out a niche as an outfitter for smaller spaces. And we know the new condos here in Toronto, they're rather small, so people turning to IKEA to furnish those new condos. IKEA's online sales, by the way, up a whopping 41%. So I guess more people turning to online for IKEA so they don't have to put up with all those crowds and all those meatballs and mashed potatoes, Francis.
And the sauce. Don't forget the berry sauce.
Let's not forget. It's a cheap meal, isn't it? IKEA, by the way, expanding across Canada. They're going to open a lot new stores, many new stores in the next couple of years.
You know, over the last few weeks, we've spoken about automation at companies, and now there's a new report that just tells us how many jobs that automation could cost us.
It's going to be a lot if you agree with this new report that's coming out of the University of Toronto today. You know, autonomous vehicles, they're already on the road. Robo-advisors are dispensing financial advice, and we can order our McDonald's hamburgers and fries from a touchscreen now as opposed to a human cashier. And the rise of the machines, this new report says, will cost Canada 7.5 million jobs over the next 10 to 15 years. So this is going to be happening soon. Even those in good, high-paying jobs will be at risk here. Automation will reduce demand for doctors, lawyers, and engineers. And the report, Francis, says Canada is unprepared for the consequences of this job loss.
Now, only in Japan would they come up with an amusement park that has a spa theme. Is that true?
You got to get a load of this. Okay, so this is a concept video, and the mayor of this northern Japanese city says he will construct this unusual spa amusement park if this video reached 1 million views, which it has. So they're going to build this. The video shows visitors enjoying rides that have been modified to double as hot tubs. The water would come from Japanese hot springs or onsen, No word on the
Come
prices. No word on the price. Can you imagine, amusement park rides aren't the cleanest to begin with. Can you imagine sharing the water with a bunch of visitors? That's scary. I'm not afraid of roller coasters, but I might be afraid of sharing the hot tub with some visitors here, Francis.
Very interesting, let me just say. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you very much.